This is Travis Wayne Goodsell. One of my emails pointed me to Zelf on the Shelf, which Zelf on the Shelf was doing a comment of this channel. It's from LDS Smile. Spiritually minded is eternal life, which is from 2 Nephi 9:39. Yeah, so they caught on to that. Isn't that nice? But they did a blog, 44 Reasons Why the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is True. And so they're trying to defend the church. So since that's what I'm doing, and since these guys have not come to my channel to use this as their defense, I thought I'd go to them. And so they say that those who are adamantly opposed to the church deploy big list tactic to convince members or other individuals that the church is not true. And I'm pretty sure that the big list tactic they're referring to is the CES letter. That was the big list tactic back in 2014, which is when this was. October 27th, 2014. Alright, so their first reason why the church is true, their first argument, is witnesses. No. No. This is all hearsay. You can say somebody's a witness to a car accident, but it is not the actual reason what happened. The person could have been drunk, he could have been asleep, he could have been dead. We don't know just by witnessing the outward appearance. There has to be an investigation. Witnesses are only supplementary to a case. Just because there were witnesses talking about an existence of plates, like I said, there's other things that could explain it. And this is not a good enough sound, it's not a sound argument. Because, for example, the Smiths lived on a farm that they had built. They built a coppersmith shop. Copper plates were used at print presses to publish books. So yes, the Smith family were involved in the making of a book, the Book of Mormon, on a farm where a coppersmith shop that could be used to make plates to turn the Book of Mormon into a publication. So again, just because there are witnesses saying they see plates does not mean that they're accurate and that they are a sound argument. So they're false. This is an unsound argument for number one. Number two, why involve witnesses at all? Yeah, why involve witnesses at all? If you're going to conspire this great conspiracy of making up gold plates actually, and the whole backstory of the Book of Mormon, why involve any witnesses at all that could just spill the beans and ruin the whole foundation of the church? It's called a cover-up. You need people who go around claiming the truth. That's why they send out 18-year-old missionaries who know nothing of the church to go out and tell people the church is true. So, yeah. Again, false. 3. Nahum. Was it just blind luck that the rare place name Nahum in the Book of Mormon, identified as the place where Ishmael was buried, turns out to correspond to an ancient burial site right where the Book of Mormon says it is? Well, first of all, if this is the case, is there any information that would have been available at the time period to indicate this, so that there was another explanation other than actual plates that reveal this? And secondly, if we have found an ancient burial site, that means there are skeletal remains, which means there is DNA in the skeletal remains. What does the DNA reveal? So, no, this is not quite there's missing premises in this to be sound. But yes, I do have the book of the couple missionary who went on a journey through that land to walk the frankincense trail down into Saudi Arabia, and yeah, they confirm a lot of the information that was contained in the Book of Mormon regarding this path. But then again, why is the Americas incorrect, whereas the Middle East and Saudi Arabia accurate? So what's going on there? Why the discrepancy? Why is one accurate and the other is inaccurate? So that brings up a lot of questions. 4. Scriptures written on gold plates. Oh, you're going back to gold instead of golden. Alright, what is more, although the prophet's critics found his claim of angelic visits and gold plates ridiculous, we now know that the writing of religious texts on metal plates, sometimes on gold, was an authentic ancient practice. I'm sorry, this is not a sound argument. The fact that it was done does not prove the Book of Mormon is correct. You have to have the actual plates from which the Book of Mormon was made and translated or looked in a hat for instead of looking off the plates. You need the plates. You can't say, oh yeah, other people did it. That doesn't hold any water. If you have the plates, then you can say, yes, this is consistent because it's also involved in these other plates that were found around the same time period. You have to have the plates, otherwise the other evidence is not confirmation for your claim. And so, yeah, in fact, with the copper scroll and other materials from the Dead Sea, okay, Martin Harris. No, I can tell you automatically before reading this. Why would a prosperous man who, by many accounts from non-Mormons, was a respectable and man full of integrity, stand by his testimony when it only brought harm to him? Again, he was played for a chump. The place names in the Book of Mormon came from Charles Anton's dictionary that was published right during that time period of making the Book of Mormon. And so when Martin Harris brought the Anton transcript, as it's now called, to Charles Anton, Martin Harris was clueless that the Book of Mormon name places were being referred to in Charles Anton's dictionary. In fact, it may even have been this connection to Charles Anton by Martin Harris's visit that they found out that he had published a book of a dictionary of names and thought, hey, we'll show him, we'll use his own names from his dictionary. So, yes, this Martin Harris thing is an automatic no. Don't even try to use him as a justification to defend the church. And remember, Martin Harris is also the one who said, well, I saw Joseph Smith looking into his hat. I just figured that's how he was doing it. He's the source for that, guys. Martin Harris was the money. That's why they call him a prosperous man. It's because he had the money. He could pay for the publication of the book. They couldn't connect themselves to the Batavian press because the Batavian press needed to keep distance from the Smiths in order to get the book out and have it legitimate. If the Batavian press, who was working on 2 of William Morgan's books, then all of a sudden William Morgan disappears and the whole anti-Freemasonic movement happens, and then you have the Batavian press paying for the publication of the Book of Mormon, it wouldn't look good. And so, yeah, they needed another source to pay for the publication of the book. Alright, Joseph Smith. I don't understand why you're using just names of people as evidence. How could Joseph Smith make up dozens of names? Oh, yep, I already discussed that from Charles Anton's dictionary. Alright. 7. River Layman. How does one account from the recent discovery of a plausible candidate? A plausible candidate? No, you need direct confirmation. Don't give us speculation and guessing and blah blah blah. So no, don't even go there. Reformed Egyptian. The Egyptian that we know today comes from the Rosetta Stone, which was Greeks' attempt. 200 BC is still the Greek period, entering into Roman period, but Greek was on the Rosetta Stone. The Greek was used to translate the Egyptian. So the Rosetta Stone is Reformed Egyptian, using Greek as the baseline for translation. That is not the fullness of translation, and Egyptologists have made big mistakes and errors in leaving out translations from the ancient glyph pictures, for example. So, yeah, don't even go there. Never denied their witness of the plates. Doesn't matter. If they can't translate it, they're worthless as a witness. Could have been copper plates made for the publication of the book. Place of translation. Pace of translation, sorry. Yes, they were writing the book from a book that had already been written. So that's why it was going so fast. With neither rewrites nor corrections. Exactly. They were plagiarizing. So, please, don't. This is unbelievable how people can be so blind in their claims. Joseph, being unlearned, he was the spokesperson. He was not the transcriber, Sidney Rigdon, who was taking the Solomon Spaulding book and turning it into the Book of Mormon. He is not Oliver Cowdery, who is the one who was able to transfer the written pages onto the copper plates. That was his job. And he wasn't Hiram Smith, who was the one who was paid for in the family to go to college. The guy who helped do the surgery on Joseph's leg, for example, was Hiram's teacher. So, yeah, Joseph Smith really didn't write anything in it. All he did was read from the manuscripts that he was given to read from. That's why with Martin Harris, there was a veil placed so that Martin Harris couldn't actually see it. So Martin Harris just assumed he was reading into a hat. Sacred text. What do you mean, how did he know? It's in the Old Testament. Don't be absurd. Different authors. No, that's just proof of plagiarism from different authors. 14. Moses. What? Why do other ancient documents support the Book of Mormon's idea? No, they don't support the Book of Mormon's idea. They don't mention the Book of Mormon. They give their own account. Don't throw in others as if they support the Book of Mormon. This is one that I exposed John Tvetnes at his BYU lecture series and humiliated him in front of the audience. 15. Poetry. It's plagiarism. And it's not Hebrew. It says it's an Egyptian document. So the fact that we can find Hebrew poetry is a clear indication that it's plagiarized. 16. Cultural differences. Again, plagiarized. Solomon Spaulding wrote about a fiction tale of the ancient Indians who lived there in western New York. 17. Hebraic roots. Again, it is not a Hebrew document. It claims in the text itself that it's Egyptian. 18. Sariah's name in the Book of Mormon. Previously unknown? Wait a minute. Okay. I don't know what to say on this, but I'm sorry. This is oh man, I was doing some quick checking, but Sariah is comes from Sarah with Yah at the end. Yah is the name of God. Sar is from Sarah, which has to do with princely, royal, and so as a female, it would be a princess, princess of Yah. That's what it would be in Hebrew. So come on, guys. Even I can figure that one out. Anyway, 19. Covenants. Oh, they have covenants, therefore it's true. No. What other church follows the biblical model? Again, this is plagiarism of the Bible. That's why. Come on. 20. Prophets. Oh, we have prophets, therefore Book of Mormon's true or church is true? To the prophets. It doesn't mean that just because you call guys prophets means that they're from Jesus Christ having his authority. Man, you guys really need to learn about how to argue soundly. Prophets continued. Just where in the Bible does it say that there would be no more prophets after the Bible was complete? Amos. 22. Bible. Just where in the Bible does it say that there would be no more prophets after the Bible was complete? Amos. 23. Complete. Just where in the Bible does it say the Bible was complete? the end of Deuteronomy, which is why we know it's not written by Moses, because somebody else said that Moses died and was buried in an unknown location. So, yes, the Bible, the Torah, was complete, but it wasn't written by Moses. My God, what is wrong with you people? That does not even connect to the church. How can you say that connects to the church when you're arguing against the Bible? 24. Pattern. Where in the Bible does it say God would cease following his ancient and well-established pattern of speaking to God through his chosen prophets? Again, there's no connection to current people called prophets, that they were called of God. You gotta fill in the blanks. And that they're given a source as Jeff Lindsay? No, Jeff, you're way off. Nephi's name. The name Nephi just happens to fit the very time and place of the where that the name was first mentioned in the Book of Mormon. What? No, Nephi comes from the Apocrypha book of Maccabees at the last chapter, I believe, in the first book. The name Nephi is right there at the end of the chapter. Nephi, slain of Laban. Nephi, slain of Laban, was the justification given to him for the Lord for doing focused on that culture of Nephi's era. What does that have to do with proving the... It's from Deuteronomy 19. When you make a false accusation, you're supposed to be punished in the manner in which you claim the false accused must be punished. God. Just dumb all over the place. 27. Christopher Columbus. Yeah, they knew about Christopher Columbus in Joseph's day. In the book they plagiarized, even. Lehi in the Desert. That's the name of the book. Daniel Peterson. Right there, you know that's false. Because Daniel Peterson is the originator of the apologetics in the church. Apologetics means defending a position through unsound argument. So, yeah, but of course they're using Hugh Nibley because they have no other person smart enough. And even Hugh Nibley just rambles on in his thick books, no substance whatsoever unless he puts a picture from the ancient world in there. Alright, so... yeah, again, he's trying to claim that, I've already discussed this, you know, in Arabia, Saudi Arabia. But again, why is Saudi Arabia accurate, but the Book or the America is inaccurate? And are you sure no scholar in the 19th century could have known about it? Nobody was rich enough to travel the world at that time? Are you kidding me? The discovery of Egyptian was based on archaeological travels to Egypt in 1820 by Jean Champollion. So don't tell me people were not capable of traveling the biblical lands. King Benjamin's address. Again, you're presupposing that the Book of Mormon is true. You can't do that. Again, these pages were plagiarized. So Daniel Peterson, again, is ruining the church rather than helping them, as he thinks he's doing. 30. Revelation. What other church better follows the biblical model of revelation guiding the church? There has been no revelation guiding the church since Brigham Young. There's only been business decisions. 31. Organization. The biblical organization? Which one? The Old Testament version organization or the New Testament organization? And we don't follow, the church doesn't follow the biblical organization, either the Old Testament or the New Testament. The Old Testament, they had a prophetic quorum. They didn't call it a quorum, but there were those who were prophets, major and minor prophets. So you might say that there were 2 organizations of prophets. So yeah, the church doesn't have that. 32, baptism for the dead. Yes, it was an authentic Christian practice, but that doesn't mean that the church is true. So this is actually somewhat legitimate, but it's doing nothing different than what other Christian churches do. They pick and choose what they like from the New Testament to adopt for their religion as their creed. And so Joseph is just following the same pattern, picking out the one passage from the New Testament that talks about why are they then baptized for the dead. So 33, temple. At a time when all Christian churches taught that temples were no longer needed because it was destroyed, so they had to come up with another excuse. How did Joseph so efficiently restore the ancient temple concept on his own? Not quite on his own. He had been influenced to Freemasonry, and the Masons called their cultural halls temples before the anti-Masonic movement. So when Joseph was denied becoming a member because of that movement, he then starts up a religion rather than a boys' club of Freemasons, because Freemasons were hated. And so he starts a religion and then decides we're going to build temples. So yeah, not a coincidence. There are other explanations, guys. Temples to early Christians. If the temple is not meant to be a part of true Christianity, why does the Old Testament teach that it was important to early Christians? And what does it prophesy that it will be important? Why does it prophesy that it will be important? Yeah, because like the temple in Jerusalem will be restored, and then the Ezekiel temple in the land of the United States. So yeah, Christians have to understand there will be a temple again. But that doesn't prove that the church is true. Again, you're not making the conclusions. This is the common one of apologists, is that other people and other religions do it, therefore our church is true. No, there's no connection to that. That's a false narrative, a false connection. You know, it's like if A, and then if B, then C. So, therefore, B equals A. It doesn't connect. B only connects with C. It does not connect with A, just because of A's existence. Faith, grace, and works. What other church better corresponds with early Christianity in terms of faith, grace, and works? Again, this is in the New Testament. Just because it's in the New Testament does not mean that it's true for the church. Because any church could do it if they just adopt the principles of James, which is where it comes from. 36, oneness of God. If the modern concept of Trinity is true, what do you mean modern? It was classical. It was Constantine who created it. Then why does the different LDS view on the oneness of God find such strong support? It depends on which Christian writings you're talking about. Everybody had a different view on God, and so the Nicene Creed was the place where Constantine said, unite or you don't get funding. And so they united, they anathematized certain religious groups like the Arians. Arians were anathematized by this Christian Nicene Creed, and then they couldn't figure out who God was, so Constantine settled it for them by calling him Homoousius. 37. Baptism for the dead. Who authorized the changes of ritual baptism that occurred since the New Testament church? What the hell are you talking about, Jeff? he's trying to get to the point of authorization is necessary. Again, you're not making the connection. Just because A exists does not mean B, which is equal to C, therefore is also equal to A. 38. Alma predicts Jesus would be born of Mary. Oh, well, that proves the church true then, doesn't it? At Jerusalem, which is the land of our forefathers. Again, doesn't prove anything. Is this a mistake? Yes, it's plagiarism. Everybody knows Jesus was born in Bethlehem. Jerusalem is referred to as the land, not the city. Again, you guys have messed up. Bethlehem can sort of be considered in the land of Jerusalem, if you call Jerusalem Judah. And I think Bethlehem may have actually been Bethlehem map. Okay. Yeah. Let's look at the images. Okay. Yeah, it was south of Jerusalem. So it was in Judah. Palestine. So we don't want. Where's the old map of the divisions of the House of Israel? No. Well, it's in Judah. So. Okay. But then you're disregarding the stellar connection that's involved here as well. But I won't get into that. But again, you guys gotta understand things correctly. 39, Dead Sea Scrolls. Again, no, it does not talk about the Book of Mormon. Jeremiah's day and therefore in Lehi's. Again, you're assuming Lehi is a real person from Jeremiah's day, rather than a fictional character from Solomon Spaulding's book. Yeah, everybody knows they were taken captive. That's called the Babylonian captivity. That's known to everybody. It's known in the Old Testament. Ezra, for example, talks of it, as well as Jeremiah prophesies of it. Chiasmus, again, we've already dealt with this. You're bringing up the same issue over and over again. There is no Hebrew. It was plagiarized. In fact, one of them was from an author claiming to be a 14-year-old boy who talked about Napoleon. 41, Names in the Book of Mormon. Again, from Charles Anthon's Dictionary of Names. Olive tree. God, Daniel. Everybody knows olive cultivation. My God, Daniel's the dumbest. 43, Easter Island inhabitants. No. Oh, yes, because Easter Island is in the Pacific, and they have found that South American DNA is from the Pacific Islanders. So, God. And Europeans? Yes. Didn't Spain and Portugal go to South America and Native American areas? That's why they're there. They raped people too. 44. Hidden cities in North America. That does not prove that the geology of the Book of Mormon is accurate. It is not accurate. You can't have European animals in North American, ancient American things and blah blah blah. And then they have the bonus of the 17 points. I already did that video and shut that down completely. Alright, so there we go. There's the my response to the 44 claims that the church is true. Church is not proven true, guys. You failed.